Coming up tonight in our news, police statistics show 917 marijuana arrests in 2019. Plus, inner city businesses share their struggles, and ORG pushes for FOIA implementation.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, amid a strong push for government to decriminalize possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana, new crime statistics reveal that over 900 people were arrested for possession of marijuana in the Bahamas last year. That's over half of the total drug-related arrests. 970 people were arrested for possession of marijuana in 2019 compared to 835 in 2018, a 10% increase. Jasmine Brown takes a look.
The noted attorney made the comments on the sidelines of a meeting for the Rotary Club of West Nassau. He says the increased arrests are not exactly a surprise.
Any statistics about increase in marijuana arrests basically has to do with the deployment of police resources. If the police choose to put resources into looking, for instance, after marijuana arrests.
Recently released police statistics show that 917 people were arrested for possession of marijuana in 2019 compared to 835 in 2018. Another 622 were arrested in 2019 for possession of marijuana with intent to supply. In 2018, 592 people were arrested for possession of marijuana with intent to supply. Monroe pointed out that doesn't necessarily mean that marijuana use is increasing.
That tells us that they have been prioritizing this.
Those crime statistics also show that in 2019, 11 people were arrested for possession of marijuana plants. 4 were arrested for possession of marijuana plants with intent to supply, and 6 were arrested for cultivation of marijuana. 7 people were arrested for possession of marijuana and marijuana cereals with intent to supply. 3 people were arrested for possession of hashish and marijuana with intent to supply. Monroe says he's not surprised by the increase based on the reports he has been getting from his Rastafarian clients.
My clients who are Rastafarians say after they were hoodwinked by the government to say that they would legalize marijuana for sacramental use, their experience has been that the police have been cracking down more so after the election.
A recently leaked preliminary report from the Bahamas National Commission on Marijuana recommends the legalization of medicinal marijuana and the decriminalization of the possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana. The draft report also recommended that individuals over 21 should be allowed to use marijuana for recreational purposes and that anyone over 18 should be allowed to use the substance for medicinal purposes. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Exuma's and Ragged Island MP Chester Cooper says he supports the plastics ban, but not its implementation. While he criticized some elements of government's rollout, Cooper says the ban is a positive move for the environment.
Plastics and styrofoams have caused a lot of issues in our waters, in the general environs of our country. We are a country reliant on the water and marine resources, and therefore we must do all we can to protect what God has given us.
Many Bahamians have expressed outrage with stores and restaurants that are charging a fee for plastic bags as per government's policy instead of offering customers an alternative like paper and reusable bags. Cooper says that frustration could have been avoided.
Had there been a longer transition period, people would have been allowed to use up their stock. And this is what my recommendation was to the government. Sometimes we get carried away with the politics of it. And in opposition, we recognize that our role is to help to build a country, not always to oppose for opposing's sake.
Business owners on East Street sounding off on the state of commerce in the inner city. Some lamented the state of their enterprise. Others say they are pushing through.
They can't fit in the parking lot, they just drive straight by. So that's part of the problem as well.
Cale Mortimer is the general manager at Mortimer Candies on East Street. A fourth-generation member of the family-owned business, Mortimer says keeping his family's pride and joy in business has been tough.
I would love to hire more people, but things have been slow, so I've actually had to cut down on staff.
Mortimer points to high costs as a challenge. However, he says something as simple as infrastructure is a massive hindrance.
As simple as the road outside, the road hasn't been paved in many years. This is probably the busiest street in the Bahamas. The ambulance, fire trucks have to go up and down it. And
Further south, KK Tong runs Central Supercenter, a wholesale and retail grocer.
Business has been pretty solid and steady.
Tong says value-added tax is an added expense, but her business has been trying its best to adjust. However, as a new business, she says things can be challenging at times.
In the first 5 years, it's very difficult. So the exemptions and the help that we get from government has helped.
Just feet away, Antoinette Lewis is the principal at a private preschool. The students mostly come from the surrounding East Street area. Despite some government assistance with funding, sometimes the parents aren't able to pay. That's a loss the school often takes on for the good of its students.
Parents who can't afford it, like they may be in arrears, you don't just run them now because you know their financial difficulty. So we try and assist in whatever area we can.
These inner city businesses fall within government's special economic zone, entitling business owners to apply for tax concessions. Last year, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis acknowledged that many business owners informed him that they were not aware of the concessions. While some business owners we spoke to suggested that they were benefiting from those tax breaks, Mortimer says he hasn't.
I don't know if it started yet, but I'm still waiting. So if they're going to do that, now's the time.
Opposition leader Philip Davis says he is confident in the results of the 2022 general election. Davis was asked about campaigning and prospective candidates. Here was his response.
Not who I'm going to be running the Progressive Party. Right. I have a process in selecting the candidates, and that process is going to be engaged and is being engaged now. And at the end of the day, you will see who those candidates will be.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has routinely expressed confidence that he will be re-elected to serve a second term in office. Well, Davis says he has a good feeling about the next election too.
I'm very confident. I think the Bahamian people have recognized that they place their faith and future in the hands of persons who don't care about them, firstly. That you cannot trust them because most of the things they say is not true.
2 years after the Prime Minister promised that the Freedom of Information Act is coming soon, the Organization for Responsible Governance is urging government to appoint an information commissioner and fully enact FOIA, as promised on the 2017 campaign trail. Berthany McDermott reports.
That's an ongoing process. We should hopefully very soon, I don't want to give a date because you'd hold me to that, hopefully very soon the commissioner, we're looking for individuals to fit that role. So we would get the commissioner first, but it's an ongoing process.
Back in December 2018, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis promised the Freedom of Information Act would be fully implemented soon. However, 2 years later, the Minnis administration has not been able to give a timeline on when the process will be complete, and an information commissioner has yet to be appointed. With just 2 years left till the next general election, Organization for Responsible Governance Executive Director Matt Aubrey urged government to fulfill its campaign promise.
We understood in the fall that an information commissioner was being considered, and we submitted some ideas and some thoughts on folks we thought would serve well. Those were received, and we hope were considered. But we did understand that there would be a named information commissioner before the end of last year, and that has come and passed. And so we are really urging government to move forward on this, because I think it's not something you want to sit on. If we don't move forward with this, it doesn't give the public the right to get information, it doesn't create transparency, and it doesn't create the trust in government that really is crucial for full democracy and for effective and efficient government.
During the run-up to the 2017 general election, the FNM continually promised the full enactment of the FOIA. In May 2019, Attorney General Carl Bethel said it would be enacted by May 2020, adding that government intended to appoint an information commissioner by the end of 2019. Aubrey acknowledged that fully implementing the bill can take some time.
What we understand about the process of implementation of a bill like this is because it is the government needs to prepare to be able to respond to requests and share information across the board, that it does take anywhere between 1.5 to 3 years from when they start to really get to full enactment. So we understand this is a timely process, but that now makes it even more important that there is movement on this and that it becomes a priority.
Last summer, Transparency International gave the Bahamas a 0% rating on the strength of its access to information legislation. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Thanks, Berthany. And still to come, BAF defends insurers amid criticism over slow claims, plus a PLP MP slams the police chief's comments over abusive officers. Stay tuned.
TV to phone to fast internet. How can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
BAF Financial and Insurance is defending the insurance industry following comments by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who asserted that insurance companies had not yet completed assessing and compensating individuals following the passage of Hurricane Dorian, preventing government from moving forward with moving debris on private properties. BAF Chief Operations Officer Sandy Morley said, as an industry, every effort is being made to fast-track the claims process.
And I saw the Prime Minister's comments, and I think the point was that the claims process was in some instances slowing down the cleanup process. Of course, there are service partners in the insurance industry, particularly on the property side. There are reinsurers. There are adjusters that are integral in the claims adjudication process. And I think as an industry, every effort is being made to fast track the process as much as possible.
Chief Financial Officer Julian Roll said BAF did not have significant claims as it is primarily a health and life insurance provider on the impacted islands.
I think it should be noted that BAF, along with the other life insurers, have actually continued our presence even over in Abaco and all of the affected areas, even during this time of rebuilding. We continue to have agent presence there, and even though our building was severely impacted, we are moving back over into Abaco hopefully by the end of this month and reestablishing our operations. So we believe that we are doing all that we can as a company and as an industry to help in the rebuilding effort.
Angleston MP Glenys Hanna-Martin putting Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson on blast today for his comments in response to claims of police brutality. When asked to respond to reports of police using excessive force, the Commissioner pointed to parenting, saying the community gets what it gives. Hanna-Martin, who is the opposition's spokesperson on crime, said she expected a better response.
Truthfully, what I was expecting for him to say is that that he is responsible for discipline, and that where it is found appropriate, he will uphold the standard on behalf of the Bahamian people. That is what the expectation is. This general sociological argument with who's people's children, how they grow up and all of that is not relevant to the issue at hand. If there is a question that an officer, a police officer who is sworn to uphold the law, has acted in a way contrary to the law or has violated the rights of citizens, if that is found to be the case, the Commissioner must be seen to being clear and in saying that officers must act in accordance with the law.
Videos of police officers beating young men at the New Year's Day Junkanoo parade sparked outrage last week. Hanna-Martin said while she knows there's an investigation into what happened, the Commissioner missed the opportunity to encourage more confidence in police officers.
I think that the Commissioner, has to have, in my view, with all the greatest respect to him, a greater appreciation of his constitutional role in this country for law and order. It's a very, very, very serious one. And it's not one that can be easily, sort of diverted by speaking about how people raise their children. It doesn't matter how anyone raises their child. Once they come onto his force, he must ensure the best training possible.
When our news comes back from the break, Fusion starts off 2020 with a bang. Stay tuned.
TV to phone to fast internet. How can we show appreciation for the 25 years you've been with Rev? To celebrate our 25th birthday, Rev is rewarding 250 lucky customers with $250,000 cash back. Simply switch to Trio, upgrade to Trio, or pay your bill in full and have your chance to win cash this Christmas. Just call 601-8992 or email us at trio@cablebahamas.com. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back. Fusion Superplex getting 2020 started with 4 new movies and the launch of a brand new menu at Altitude. Cal Joaquin has the story.
Most lawyers barely make time to call.
I can't believe you talked to all my people and said you're gonna fight for me. I did. It mean a lot.
The American legal drama Just Mercy, starring Michael B. Jordan, tells the true story of a Harvard graduate and his first case of representing Walter McMillian, played by Jamie Foxx, who was sentenced to die in 1987 for the murder of an 18-year-old girl, despite evidence proving his innocence.
Your life is still meaningful, and I'm gonna do everything possible to keep them from taking it. You don't know what you're into down here in Alabama when you're guilty from the moment you're born.
Then there's the thriller Underwater, which follows crew members aboard a research station as they are terrorized by a mysterious creature 7 miles below the surface of the ocean.
Turn your lights off.
You have like a boss, Tiffany Haddish, and her and her best friend, they start a business. They get a big loan from this investor, but come to find out they owe about $1 million. So their plan, this whole movie, is to buy out the investor and own their own business.
Fusion also officially launching Altitude, its premier restaurant with beautiful scenery and a Mediterranean flair.
It's diverse. It has local flair, it has meats, it has chops, it has vegan and vegetarian food as well.
Dinner starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow at Altitude and includes a whole new menu. Chef Johnson explains.
Most persons thought Altitude was open already, but what we did was we have people sit in here and eat other restaurants' menus. But now Altitude is producing their own menu.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.